Hello. Today we'll be talking about the advanced image editing capabilities available in the MemoriaMind monument creation application. So let's start off by generating a concept image. Okay, you see the concept image has been created. Create this elegant, beautiful tombstone with engraved roses. But let's say we want to make an edit to this particular tombstone. Like, let's say we only want the roses, engraved roses, to be on the left side, not the right side. We can do that easily by editing the image. So editing basically means that you can select a portion of the image that you want to change, and then tell the model exactly what you want to change about that portion. So in this case, we'll select the engraved roses and tell the model that we want it to remove these engraved roses. And you can see now the model is applying our edit. It's 56% complete. And as you can see, it did exactly what we told it to do and nothing more, nothing less. So now the engraved roses on the right side of the tombstone are removed, and only the engraved roses on the left side remain. So now let's make the job of the AI for our next steps easier by removing the background of the image. So here you see we've told the AI to remove the background of the image, and now we're just waiting for a response. And it did exactly that. So it's got that tombstone, and the background of the image is just a blank white photo studio background. Um, this is great, but let's say we want a different style of stone. We can click this retexture button and select from a drop-down exactly the type of texture that we want. So in this case, let's say we'll go with this stone color. It's a red stone color, Canadian red polish provided by Polycore. It's trademarked. But once we've selected the texture that we want, we can add any additional nodes. And when we're ready, we can click retexture image. So now the model will retexture the image exactly using the texture that we want. And here you can see the retextured image using the exact texture that we've specified, and it matches up perfectly with the reference image, but it's using the red stone color instead of the gray. So let's say that we like this design and we want to move forward. Uh, One thing we can do is we can generate this image from multiple views. So basically, this is the front profile right now of the design, but we want to generate the left side profile, the right side profile, and the back of the tombstone. This particular operation will likely take longer than the other operations because it has to generate multiple images. Any view that is not currently present um, in the reference image it needs to generate. You can see right now we're roughly two-thirds of the way complete the generation, so we'll just wait for the model to finish running. And you can see that it has, and it has generated the different views of the tombstone, basically allowing the 3D model generation pipeline to run more efficiently with more data. So let's say, for instance, now that we have the design that we want, and we want to generate a stencil file specifically that produces this design. The first thing that we'll do is we'll crop the image and we'll capture specifically the surface that we want to generate the stencil file for. So in this case, we'll make this front surface the surface that we want to generate the stencil file for. So once we've selected that, we can click confirm, and that crops the image to exactly what we want. Okay, great. It looks like we have cropped the image to exactly what we needed. And now our next step is going to be to generate the stencil file. So to generate the stencil file, we'll click Convert to Stencil, and it'll generate the stencil preview for us. Okay, great. Now it looks like we've generated the stencil design. And up here you can see uh, this final step before it proceeds with the actual creation of the stencil file. So this particular art style that it's applying is something called an inlaid art style, which is basically the standard for memorial designing. And what it is you have multiple different layers. You can have no depth taken out, you can have a little depth taken out, and you can have a lot depth taken out. And the outline generally is deeper than the actual design. So one of the really interesting and tricky things about designing memorials is that the size of the real estate on the tombstone impacts the level of detail that you can apply in that region. So one of the things that is really nice about the software that we've built is this adjustable width of the outline. And that basically lets you control like the level of detail that you want to apply. And as a result, we're able to automatically size and resize these designs to match exactly what they need to be based on the specs of how big you want to make the design. So we'll adjust it to a level that we're comfortable with, and once we do that, we'll click go ahead and generate DXF. And sweet, we see that the DXF file was generated accordingly. To move the image around or zoom in, we can do that. But this is a stencil file, and we're ready to download it. And you can upload this to a stencil cutter machine to uh, produce for the purposes of sandblasting this design into the stone, and it's highly customizable. And if we want to go back and edit the width of the outline again, we can do that and generate another stencil. So that's basically an overview of the advanced image editing features and capabilities of the MemoriaMind application.